Hey everyone, it's me Arthur Kade and welcome back to another star-studded episode of Behind the Velvet Rope Live. We have everything today from the worlds of movies, TV, fashion, and some incredible in-studio guests. Here's a sneak peek. On this episode of Behind the Velvet Rope Live, we catch up with Star Wars' Daisy Ridley about her inspiring new documentary, The Eagle Huntress. We blast into outer space talking with Ron Howard and Brian Grazer about their epic new series, Mars. Speaking of space, we chat with Anna Gasteyer and Tracee Chimo about sci-fi comedy People of Earth. Victoria's Secret angel Jasmine discusses wearing the $3 million fantasy bra at this year's Victoria's Secret fashion show. We caught up with Maria Bello and Dave Navarro at the Inspire a Difference Gala. And we sit down with the cast of Amazon's Red Oaks. All that and more on Behind the Velvet Rope Live. I told you guys we had a lot of ground to cover, and here we go. Everybody's been absolutely crazy about Mars ever since Matt Damon took us there with The Martian. Well, now two Hollywood legends, Ron Howard and Brian Grazer, two of my absolute favorites, are taking us there in their new series on National Geographic. It's called, easily, Mars. And it's a combination of a documentary and a scripted series. We caught up with the legendary filmmakers and they told me all about it. You conquered every other world. What made you want to tackle this one?
Exploration, space, you know, and also the creative excitement that National Geographic gave us. The energy, the idea of doing this in this experimental way, part documentary, part scripted. You know, I've never seen anything like this that works over 6 hours, and I'm really, really proud of it.
What's it like working together? I mean, you guys have one of the coolest duo dynamics in Hollywood. How does it work?
It's almost telepathically, actually, at this point. I think, how do we work together? I somehow think I'm the outside guy that goes and experiences a lot of things throughout the day, and then, you know, like I go fish around and use my curiosity as some sort of superpower to find stuff out, and then we pitch these ideas and our experiences back and forth. They then become sort of curated between the two of us, and then if we decide on one of them or a perspective, he actually drills pretty deep on them, and I'll just probably continue to keep going to the next.
Keep starting up the next thing to do.
Yeah.
Largest and coolest series you're ever going to see on television. It premieres on Nat Geo, or National Geographic as we like to say, November 14th at 9 o'clock. You guys have got to catch it. I even had a cast, and we'll have this on our web on Facebook, about when they predicted we're going to land the first person on Mars. You guys got to check it out. We're staying in space with the biggest star in space. Of course, I'm talking about Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, the face of the new Star Wars franchise. She has an exciting new project where she teamed up with one of the coolest producers in Hollywood, Morgan Spurlock. It's called The Eagle Huntress, and it's a story focusing on a 13-year-old young lady in Kazakhstan who's chasing her dream, and it's not an easy dream to chase. I caught up with both of them at the premiere. Here's what they told me. Getting involved with this is such an inspirational story. A, why did you get involved? And B, how did you get involved?
I got involved because I was sent the film, because my agent is with is in Morgan's agency, and so she somehow got her hands on the film, and I watched it and was just blown away. So I asked to be part of it. So initially it was executive producer, in that hopefully my name would bring maybe a wider audience if perhaps they wouldn't have seen it otherwise, which I don't actually think is true, but it was nice for them to, you know, tell me that would have happened. And then they needed a narrator, so I was lucky enough to narrate it too.
I mean, we were so lucky. The director, Otto Bell, came to me about 2 years ago with 10 minutes of raw footage that he'd just come back from Mongolia with, and showed it to me, and he goes, "What do you think? Can you help me?" And I said, yes. We jumped on the project right then. We raised the money to finish the film, brought on Stacey Reese, the producer, to help him go back and do reshoots. We brought on the whole editorial team. We got Sia to do the theme song. We chased Daisy to do the VO. So, like, we actually put together the most perfect dream team for this movie, and it's one of those things that is so special, and when you watch it, it really comes across. Like, I feel very lucky.
November 2nd, this is hitting New York and LA before it expands all across the country. It is one of the most inspirational and cool stories you will ever see. Make sure to see The Eagle Huntress. It's freaking awesome. Speaking of freaking awesome, our first in-studio guest, I've got to share a little bit of a story before I bring them on screen with me. When I was first starting out, and when the show was first starting out, the gentleman here, who now runs one of you know, he ran the New York Film Festival, but now is like running every other film festival in America. Helped us out so much. He helped build what we're able to do here today. And he has a movie out with his wife called The Ladies of the House. They're here in New York because they're opening Fright Fest in New York. And I'm so happy to have them join me. John Wildman and Justina Walford, thanks so much for coming in. I had to pay an enormous thank you to you guys. I was telling, before we got started, I was telling you, this guy, like, literally, the reason I'm here, one of the big reasons was him. Like, he made sure that we got, it was like every big star on the planet. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So when I knew you guys were coming into New York, I was so happy to have you.
Well, I was thrilled to do that because, you know, running red carpets, you see people like yourself that can actually talk to people and ask great questions. With your audience knows this by this point.
Keep going.
Well
Keep
over.
going.
You know, you want them actually talking because they make you look good on the red carpet. So it was a thrill to do that, and it's been awesome to see you go on and continue to go on bigger and bigger red carpets around the world. This is awesome.
We can just keep going. With that. We don't need to talk about your movie. Just keep going. Well, congratulations on the movie. I remember you made the movie, so it's like you are the creative force behind it, right, Justina?
I am a co-writer. The women.
Take the away. Don't give anybody credit ever.
The women are definitely from my brain. Yeah,
Yes.
and the women are sweet, loving, adorable, quirky cannibals.
Tell me about the movie. I mean, that's a perfect segue into what is The Ladies of the House about? Like, what are people getting when they see this film?
The Ladies of the House is about a family of women, not related, but a group of women who live together that are kind of burlesque dancers or strippers, and some guys, as I soft pedal it, you know, they're burlesque dancers. They take their clothes off. And some guys are out on a birthday outing. They follow the wrong dancer home and get invited for dinner. And you can say, well, you know, whose dinner? Their dinner.
So you stole the rights to my story is what you're saying.
That's exactly. So for the high-minded out there, you know, the idea was, what if Douglas Sirk directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What might happen? And for those that, you know, that maybe, you know, don't know who Douglas Sirk is, you know, again, we go, it's a movie about cannibal strippers. So there you go.
That's the pitch right there.
Exactly.
How hard is it? You know, it's one thing when you're Harvey Weinstein, and you can get any movie made you probably want anywhere. How hard is it when you're indie filmmakers to get a movie made?
It's incredibly difficult. You know, it took us 5 years to make this film.
Unbelievable.
It took
And
us.
I think we're lucky. That's a happy story. Like, some people take 10, 20 years. And I definitely have screenplays that I had written, you know, 20 years ago, and they're just still sitting on a shelf. So it's very difficult.
Absolutely. You know, people do not make independent films unless they really need to make that movie. And this movie was very much like that. You know, it was a movie that we wanted to do our first film together when we got together, and Justina came up with this idea, and I said, if you write that, we'll make this. And at a certain point, I came in and helped her with the script. But it was the movie that we said, this is the movie that's in our head, and we need to put this on the screen so you and people out there can see this.
That's so funny, because when you say, like, a movie we had to make, I'm like, well, we have this cause called Cannibal Women. And we just want everyone to have more awareness about.
www.savethecannibalwomen.com. Contribute to it.
Exactly.
How, you know, you've run, right now you're running, you were telling me, what, 12 film
I
festivals?
have a dozen film festivals around the country. So
When do you sleep, dude? Like, that's crazy to me.
not a whole lot, but yeah, Dallas, Tallgrass in Wichita, Sidewalk in Birmingham, Oxford, Mississippi, Iowa, Harlem, La Costa, they're all over. Yeah.
Having run the New York Film Festival, how are the smaller festivals different from something like that for you?
Well, you know, they're different in this way. The filmmakers that come there, you know, they are on a trek around the country and sometimes around the world with their films, and they're looking for an audience. And what I say to people, that a lot of the true discoveries can be made at these regional film fests. Because you go to a New York Film Festival, you go to Cannes or Sundance, yes, you're discovering films because they're premieres. But these are films that, you know, may have screened at those film festivals, but maybe they didn't get all kinds of attention. And so a lot of times I'm putting there and I'm introducing someone like you to a film and you're like going, this one slipped by me. I'm going, yeah, and you need to watch it. And that's what is wonderful about these film festivals.
You were telling me, obviously I mentioned you're opening Fright Fest. That was an incredible opportunity. I mean, again, you're at the Dolby Theater. I mean, this is pretty cool. How did that all happen?
Our film was in the market at Cannes this year. And the people that are associated with the film festival knew the people that were putting it out there in the market, and they came to me and they said, would you be interested in this? And the film is available on VOD, like you can see it on Amazon and you can see it on iTunes, but the DVD release is happening in December, so I said, a screening in New York City? Yeah, we have a whole new reason to talk about the movie, and prior to this DVD release with all the extras and everything, it gives me another excuse, which it doesn't take much of an excuse for me to talk about this movie.
How do you guys work together? Like, I would have so much trouble working with someone I'm married to. Like, it is so tough to even be married, but to actually work together, I'd be like, I'm bossy, like I'm awful. How do you guys make it work?
I think I've only locked him out of the house like twice. It's not that bad.
That's right. We always say we don't argue about real stuff. We argue about the film stuff. And so, when we'll have a knockdown, drag-out argument about the wardrobe, like about the color of in this movie, the color of the lingerie for one of the characters. And I'll be going, it has to be this purple. And she'll go, the lavender's fine. No, it has to be purple. And those will be the kind of arguments. But real life stuff, we never argue.
What do you think about female filmmakers right now? We're seeing this enormous emergence. I was just talking to Ava DuVernay, who's like setting the world on fire. She's awesome, right?
Yes.
What do you think? Like, we need more, right?
Yeah, I actually started a film festival called Women Texas Film Festival for female directors, female writers, composers, which actually there's very few female composers working, and DPs. And it's really amazing how much talent is out there and how they're not working and how they should be working, because if you see what is already out there in the independent world, there's some amazing women making movies. I love seeing it. I think they're changing a lot of the genres. They're changing the romantic drama, the romantic comedy. They're definitely changing horror movies, because you're seeing the genre completely explode with a female voice, and it's fantastic.
That was my perfect segue to horror. Like, it's a hard market right now. One of the biggest horror people out there just announced there's no market anymore. He's done. Was it a hard market for you guys?
Well, listen, all independent film, horror or otherwise, is going through this change where it's almost like a throwback to the days of William Castle, where he would, put a can of film in his car and go from city to city and put buzzers in the seats or fly a skeleton, through the balcony and stuff like that. You have to kind of live with your movie, and you don't just make a movie and then forget about it and it's taken care of and you go off to the next movie. No, you have to talk about it, and you see more and more when you go to the theater. We're at that theater doing a Q&A with the movie. We're bringing our stars with us because you actually go to the movie now, and even big stars, you'll see like a taped portion before the movie starts with the star thanking you for going to the movie. And those are big stars. And so, yeah, we're going through this change now where people are going, it's not just enough to make the movie, we have to go out there and actually put on a show with the movie as well.
He was so professional on carpets. Like, I would have been pitching this thing like, if I would have had people walking by, I would have had cards ready and been like, Steve Carell, come over here, and like sticking cards with my movie. I remember he was telling me about the movie at the New York Film Festival I think it was 3 years ago. I would have been putting cards in there. I'm like, you're too professional, John.
There's a time and place. There's a time and place.
I would have been like tackling people. Guys, congratulations. Everybody, if you're in New York, go to the Dolby Theater on Friday for Fright Fest. These guys are opening. And it's just great to have them in here. And congratulations, guys. I'm so happy you were able to come in. And congrats on the movie.
Thank you for having us.
And they can check it out on Amazon and all that good stuff. Give me one last plug before I let you guys go. Make them watch your movie.
Okay. The Ladies of the House, you're going to see 4 amazing women.
Strippers.
Yes. And
Smart strippers.
Turning the tables on the guys like you've never seen before.
I'm so happy you guys came here. Thanks so much. Aren't they awesome? Go see the Ladies of the House. I want you to support John and Justina. They're awesome. All right, we're turning our eyes to an inspiring cause, because every single year, Investigation Discovery holds their Inspire a Difference Gala, where they highlight 3 celebrities that are working with great organizations. This year, they took a look at Joy Behar, Dave Navarro, Maria Bello. And I talked to Maria and Dave about their organizations. Here's what they told me. Congratulations on the Joyful Heart Foundation. I know Mariska, how much this means to her, this organization. It's got to be awesome to be honored here tonight, right?
It really is, but I really think that I'm honoring Mariska and all of the other survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence, and whatever I can do to help shine a light, the bright light that she and her whole foundation is shining, then I'm very, very fortunate.
Tell me about the work Joyful Heart does.
Joyful Heart supports survivors of domestic and sexual violence and child abuse, but they go way above and beyond that. They work on policy and really transforming society's idea about these issues and what they are, about shaming victims, about rape on college campuses, about the backlog rape kit. I mean, they are incredible. And their new campaign, Enough, which I love, incorporates men. We need men more than anything to be our partners and voices in this, because every man I know does not talk in the locker room like that.
I work with Safe Horizon, which provides shelters for families that are going through domestically violent situations. It allows them a safe harbor that's anonymous, that there's no way to know where the shelter is. So a domestically violent perpetrator can't track down the family. And it really allows a place for healing to begin for these families. Living shelters where there's actual apartments, beds, bedrooms, kitchens. It's not just little rooms, it's an entire community, and it's a safe community. And what I really particularly love about it is that they provide an avenue for these kids and a place for them to interact and learn to grow and heal, because kids are the silent victims of all of these situations.
Navarro, by the way. I want to take a moment and plug for Dave Navarro. He and Jane's Addiction are up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. Go vote for them. They are one of the best bands of all time. They pretty much brought in the alternative trend with Nirvana. Go vote for Jane's Addiction for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2017. Thanks for chatting with me, Dave, and Maria as well. Great causes for both of you. Speaking of a great cause, in a few months, the Super Bowl of fashion is upon us. That is a great cause. I'm talking about the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And every year, everybody's always wondering who's going to wear the $3 million fantasy bra. Well, this year it is second-year angel Jasmine Tukes. What an honor. And she told me all about it. Jasmine Tukes, this is your you made it moment. We're standing next to a $3 million bra. And guess who's wearing the fantasy bra this year?
I am. I'm so excited to be wearing the Bright Night fantasy bra this year. It's such an honor. And I still pinch myself every morning. It's unbelievable. This is like the Super Bowl for a Victoria's Secret angel. Where were you when you found out? Walk me through the whole experience. So I was actually on a shoot with Victoria's Secret with Romy, Josephine, and Taylor. And a lot of Victoria's Secret employees were there as well. So I was a little confused what this whole shoot was. I'm like, what's going on? And why are all these people here? Because normally it's just our hair and makeup and everybody. So we're all getting ready to do an interview, and Ed Resnick goes, Jasmine, you're going to go first. Girls, listen to Jasmine. She knows what she's talking about. I'm like, what are we talking about? And no one would tell me. And then finally someone goes, we're talking about bralettes. So then Ed went on and asked me a question about the bralettes, and I answered. And then the second question was, how would you feel about wearing the fantasy bra? And it took me about 30 seconds to actually realize what he was saying. And then when I did, I just screamed and dropped into tears, and the girls ran over and gave me a hug, and it was amazing that they were there as well to experience it with me and really cheer me on. Speaking of which, walk me through the bra. What is this? Except the gorgeousness. It's set on 18 karat gold. It has 9,000 gemstones. God. And emeralds and white diamonds. And emeralds is one of my favorite gemstones, so I really love this, and I feel like it goes well with my skin tone. And it was exclusively designed for Victoria's Secret by Eddie Borgo and hand set by A.W. Musenard. All right, guys, so if you're not able to afford a $3 million bra, go to the new Victoria's Secret store. That's where we filmed it, by the way. It is the coolest store. We were upstairs. They have a whole museum with Victoria's Secret's most famous outfits. Go buy a bunch of stuff at Fifth Avenue and support the Victoria's Secret fashion show. It's going to be on CBS December 5th, 10 o'clock. I'm sure you will be one of the many, many millions watching it. All right, so earlier, I took you into space with Daisy Ridley and Ron Howard and Brian Grazer. Now we're bringing space to Earth because there's a freaking hilarious new show coming out on TBS called People of Earth. It's got two great comedic names with Anna Gasteyer and Tracee Chimo. I caught up with both of them, and they told me what to expect with the show.
People of Earth is the story of a group of survivors of alien abduction, and it's a support group there, and I play their therapist. I'm possibly an abductee myself, although they don't like the word abductee. They like the word
You have
survivor.
to be PC with alien abductees?
Yes, it's a very serious comedy about the possibility of abduction.
You've had such a great career with comedy. What draws you to a show like this role?
It's Greg Daniels who ran The Office, and it's Conan's company, so there's really smart minds behind it. It's a really original new voice, this guy David Jenkins who wrote the script, and it's great improvisers. It's a huge, I like shows with a big, ridiculous cast, and this show has that. There are like 10 or 11 of us regulars, so they're very funny people, and there's in a room sitting around together is always going to make magic, you know.
So what's up with your character? Tell me all about her.
Chelsea is a really interesting gal, actually. She's married to a guy who works on Wall Street and had a sexual encounter with her alien and becomes very obsessed with this alien and has lots of dreams about him. And
He rocked her world?
He rocked her world, yeah, totally. And he also kind of rocked her life in a way. Her marriage is falling apart, and for lots of other reasons as well. But she then sort of seeks solace from the priest who
leads a support group, right?
Leads Star-Crossed, which is our support group. And he works at the church, and so she kind of goes to him for support and guidance, and then something sort of sparks between them.
You know, once they say, once you go Mars, you never go back.
You never go back.
Guys, this show is freaking hilarious. They sent me screeners and I couldn't get enough. I can't wait to watch a complete first season. You need to be in front of your TV watching TBS, October 31st at 9, 8 Central. People of Earth, great show, one of the best comedies coming out right now. One of my joys in getting to do this, it's one thing when you get to interview the movie stars every night, we all know them. But one of my true joys as a TV host is being able to talk to talent that's just up and coming, super talented, and you hope they remember your name in like 3 years when they're topping the Billboard charts. One of those artists is here with me. Her name is Sophia Bastian. I'm so excited to have her. She's so talented. Sophia, hi.
Thanks for having me.
I heard you sound checking earlier, and it made me hate myself because I realized how untalented I am compared to people like you. Tell me about yourself. We need to buy your music, so tell me all about it.
That's really sweet. Well, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I have a new single out. It's called Blind Ambition, and you can get it anywhere on your favorite streaming service or iTunes.
So tell me about music. When did you get into music? How did this become your passion? I'm always fascinated with artists, when it all began.
You know, for me it's hard to say when it began because I was always in the performing arts. I actually started in classical ballet, and then I drifted into jazz school. I don't even really know how it happened, but it did happen. But I think music and dance have always been part of my life.
When do you realize this is going to be my career? Because it's like, look, people don't get it. When you're in this business, it's hard, man. It's hard to survive. It's hard to put a Big Mac in your mouth and afford that. When did you realize, I'm going to put my life into this and go for it?
It's always been my life. I think that it became a gradual transition of, you know, that also having to become your living. There's that slight difference,
tough,
right?
It's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. However, I've always known that that's who I am and that's what I want to do. I mean, yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle. It's difficult, but you know, it's what I live for, and so I you know, I make it work. I make it happen.
I was listening to you. I'm a big soulful guy. I'm a big jazz guy. I love that stuff. And you've got that thing going on. It's just soulful. And you're going to be performing for us shortly, which I can't wait. Tell me about the sound. When you're creating your sound, what do you want? What do you want people to hear from you when you create it?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a big compliment because soul and jazz, those are my main ingredients. That's what I grew up on. That's what I love. And so I hope that when people, you know, listen to my music, that comes through in an authentic way, and it's hopefully, you know, an effortless thing that they pick up on. You know, I think when you start writing music, you really can't think too much of what you want it to sound like. I think that always, at least in my case, I feel like I come out sounding contrived. Hopefully you digested enough of your influences for them to just come to surface while you do what you do. And then ideally also, you know, if it's completely you, then your gumbo comes out, you know, it's hopefully just your
I
own
love how
signature.
you just called it gumbo. That's awesome.
You like Southern food?
Are you kidding? I love gumbo. Seafood gumbo is
Let's go to New Orleans then. Let's do it.
See you guys later. We're howdy.
Get out of here.
All right, who are your influences? Who are the people that you looked up to and look up to?
My main, you know, my daily nutrition is still Ray Charles, you know, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, of the greats, Nina Simone I love, and obviously I love, you know, that Beyonce album is still, you know.
Is she that good? Like, so my roommate's a musician, and I literally will come home and I'll be like, you know, is this person that good? Is this person that good? Like Dave Navarro, great example. We just played an interview with him. I'm like, is he that good? And my roommate's like, and he's a professional musician. He's like, amazing. Like, is Beyonce that good?
With that last album with Lemonade, she has made herself, I think, not just an amazing performer and you know, an entertainer. She's put her dent into, you know, pop music history. Because that album is an album, like it's going to last. I think that musically, she's arrived as, I think, as an artist as opposed to an entertainer now, I think.
So I'm going to be totally honest. I look at people sometimes in my industry, and I'm like, I'm better than that person. It's a horrendous way to think. It's not being, you know, you want to sit there and give the company a line and be like, no, I'm so honored. But you look at certain people and you're like, I know I have more talent. Right. Do you ever have those moments? Because as an up-and-coming artist, do you have those moments where you think like, I'm better than that person. I can make it. And you know what I'm saying? Like where you're like, if they could make it, I can really make it.
Right. No, I don't ever have moments like that, to be honest. I'm just really excited to be able to do what I'm doing now. And I really want to focus on what I'm trying to do next. And I'm hoping, you know, I'm working on my next music video. I'm hoping to find management. I don't have that yet, so I'm doing it on my own still. And I think when you do that, you have to stay really focused, and you can't sort of like look at someone else and be like, oh, I'm supposed to, you know, I really, I've been getting really lucky, and so I'm just grateful. I'm not looking at anyone else saying like,
how hard is it? Like you'd mentioned looking for management, how hard is it as an indie artist to make all that happen, to break those walls?
I mean, at the stage I'm at, you have to just wear a lot of hats at the same time, without losing focus on, you know, who you are, which is in my case a musician, a singer, a songwriter. And so for me it's important to just create a balance where I push enough on promotion, because, you know, you wouldn't know about my music unless you heard it somewhere or you discovered it on YouTube. So for the things to get out there and for them to get on the radar, it's like a job in itself. And so you have to find a balance between working on your craft and not losing sight of the hours it takes. I'm sure when you have musician roommates, you know how much.
He's 60, by the way. He's awesome. I sit there and watch him dabble, and I'm just like depressed because I'm like, if you gave me 5 years, I couldn't do what he does, and it's just like crazy to me.
They say, someone just told me that it takes 1,000 hours?
10,000.
Oh, 10,000,
yep.
Okay.
Malcolm Gladwell actually wrote a book called Outliers, I believe, about that. And the Beatles, he used a case study with the Beatles where it's like, people don't realize before they became the Beatles, they played for like 5 years together and nobody knew who they were.
Yeah.
10,000 hours is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I wonder how close I am.
I know, we need to keep counters. Well, you're gonna be spending a tiny amount of those 10,000 hours performing live for us in a little bit. What are you gonna be performing? Tell me.
I'm gonna be playing one of my slow ballads for you.
Okay.
And it's called "Makes Me Believe." We just had a show at Rockwood Music Hall on Tuesday, and we opened with that. So I figured I'll play that for you.
I can't wait. Stay tuned. Sophia's going to be playing live for us. All right, guys. So Nicole Byer has become literally one of the most appreciated, funniest, coolest young comedic actresses in Hollywood. She's got a hilarious show on MTV called Loosely Exactly Nicole. and I caught up with her because she's a big Hillary Clinton supporter, and she told me her thoughts on the election.
I mean, Donald Trump is awful. Hillary is great. And then you talk to people about it, and they're like, she's a crook. And I'm like, well, what do you call Donald Trump, a man who bankrupted a whole fucking city? Atlantic City is literally a garbage dump because he came in with his fucking comb over and was like, I don't know how to do anything. And then you're like, Hillary's a crook, so what is he? What are all politicians? They're all crooks. Who do you feel more comfortable with going to talk to foreign nations? Hillary Clinton, who's like eloquent and can speak, or Donald Trump, who like makes fun of special needs people? I'm with Hillary. Like, I feel like it should be a no-brainer. Also, like, poor people for Trump, that man cannot help you. If anything, that man has hurt you because you pay more taxes because he hasn't in 18 years. I don't get why this is even a contest.
All right, guys, so make sure to check out Nicole's show every Friday at 10 o'clock on MTV. Side note, we were in the green room before the interview. It's one thing when people are hilarious on camera. Nicole had me absolutely in tears in the green room, just with her thoughts, her commentary. She really is one of a kind. So make sure to check out her show on MTV every Friday. Another great show, and it's coming back for season 2. It's on Amazon. It's called Red Oaks. Really phenomenal cast. One of the funniest men of all time. Paul Reiser's in it. Dirty Dancing star Jennifer Grey's in it. It's coming back for season 2, and I caught up with the incredible cast. They told me all about it. Check it out.
We walk around the set with a certain entitlement because we're older, and so we just flaunt it. And you
Where
know,
are my sneakers? These shoes are killing me.
And these little 5-year-old actors, and we just walk around and we hi-hat them because
Wait, what is he talking about?
You know, hi-hat?
He's
That's
so
an
old.
old
He's
expression.
using expressions
Do
I've
you know
never even
hi-hat?
heard of.
That's a very old phrase.
No.
I'm gonna pull this car over and stop and let you out.
My father and I used to watch Spin City reruns all the time, and we used to watch Mad About You at the dinner table. And I went through a Dirty Dancing obsession when I was like 8, which is probably actually sort of inappropriately young to be obsessed with that movie. But all of you are people who I saw and grew up with, and you know, in the case of someone like Jennifer Grey, idolized and went as for Halloween one year. So it definitely is, if you can't think about it too much, because if you think about it, you get overwhelmed and sort of nervous, and but it's exciting. And I haven't acted with you or Jennifer yet, but to be on screen with someone like Paul Reiser is, I mean, it's like class. It's like I just get to learn.
I've done it, and I agree.
Yeah.
He's superior.
For me, it's fine. I mean, I think you're probably learning a lot from me when you're in the scene.
I am, actually.
You know?
He's modest,
it's
but
like
I
going
am.
to school, almost. It's very good.
Really brings me back to my childhood in the 80s. I mean, the 90s. All right, it really is the 80s. We'll keep it our little secret, though. But either way, go watch Red Oaks. It's going to be streaming on Amazon. Go binge watch it. November 11th, check it out. I mean, with a cast like that, how can you not? I promised you more Sophia. You guys are going to see all the talent that I was telling you about now. Sophia, you ready to bang it out for me or what?
Yes, I am.
It's all, the floor is yours.
When you turn my way, I forget what I had to say. When you look at me, it's like a touch. Yeah, it's almost too much. It makes me believe. It makes me believe that I could lean on you and that you would make things alright. Would you let me pretend that the world is not gonna end? Make it slow, make it slow, make it slow. Oh, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow it down, slow down, slow down for me. Yeah, slow it down for me. Oh, 'cause when you turn
my way. I forget what I had to say, 'cause in my head I hear Al Green singing, let's stay together, yeah, through any kind of weather. Then I wonder, oh I wonder, Stevie, I wonder, could I lean on you at night? Would you make things alright? Would you let me pretend that the world is not gonna end? Make it slow, make it slow, make it slow, oh, slow down, slow it down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down for me. Yeah, slow it down for me.
Well, that's it from Behind the Velvet. How do you follow that up, though? We have more show, but that was awesome. You wrote that yourself?
Yes, I did.
That was really beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're awesome. And you have an EP, so everybody needs to go check out your EP, right? Do your plug. Give them your plug.
Well, Sophia Bastian, Sophia Bastian, Bastin, and you can find me anywhere on the internet and just get my music if you like it.
You're awesome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
That's a talented lady right there, guys. All right, next up, we are going to Melissa Joan Hart. Everybody loved Melissa Joan Hart. I mean, she is the face of shows that have defined a generation, from Clarissa Explains It All to Sabrina the Teenage Witch to Melissa and Joey. I caught up with her and she told me she's directing now. How cool is that? Here's what she told me.
I just finished directing a movie that will be out sometime next year. I can't release the name yet, but it's a remake of a 1980s thriller with a wonderful Academy Award-winning actress at the helm.
That's so cool.
I know, it's very cool. And then I'll be in a movie November 27th on Hallmark called Broadcasting Christmas with Dean Cain that we just finished last week. So
I've got to ask about directing, because right now there's such a problem. There's not enough female directors.
Yeah.
So being able to do that, getting behind the lens after having such a great career in front of the lens, what was it like?
Oh, I love it. This is my second feature, and I directed a lot of Sabrina, Melissa and Joey, and some other TV shows that I'm not in. But it's really hard when you're in it. That is a whole different.
I can't even imagine.
So this summer, I was like, I am not going to be in this movie. I am just going to direct it. So it was wonderful.
All right, guys. Next up, I'm taking you to the New York Television Festival, and we're talking to some great new showmakers. Two of them are TV vets, Rachel Dratch and John Glaser. They have two new shows on True TV, and they sound hilarious. I caught up with them, and they told me all about it. So what's it like returning to the world of sketch comedy?
Well, this was a lot. I mean, in some ways it's the same because you just try to think up characters like you did on SNL, but in a lot of ways this was very different because there's no live audience. And also the big difference is it was just me. In my little bits, it was just me without playing off another person, so that was a whole different thing.
So are the bits the snacks?
The bits are the snacks, yes.
And John, how did you get this show made? I mean, what's the pitch for John Glaser Loves Gear?
A couple bags of money.
Yeah, a lot of trust, a lot of crossed fingers. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of earnest voiceovers for the show, and I'm pitching a new show called Earnest Voiceovers. And it's just all genuine, like earnest VOs. So.
I would like to point out that John Glaser and I were together in Second City Touring Company back in the mid-90s.
I can see the chemistry between the two
yeah,
of you.
we really have worked together for a very long time. So this is a bit of a thrill for me.
Yeah.
To be here with my old tour co-buddy,
100%
Johnny
agree.
G.
This is a very special night.
Their two shows are called Late Night Stacks for Rachel Dratch and John Glaser Loves Gear. Yes, that is the name of his show, John Glaser Loves Gear. How cool is that? They're going to be coming out soon, so put them on your radar. They're both going to be hilarious because those two are hilarious. Another show featured at the New York TV Film Festival. It's not even the film, TV Fest. I'm so used to saying film festivals because we've been covering so many that I said TV Film Festival. It's just the TV Festival, but another show featured there is one of the best on TV. I spoke to this cast 2 years ago at the Peabody Awards. When you win a Peabody, it is probably the most beloved and acclaimed award that a TV show can win. I mean, the Emmys are the big popular one, but Peabody's are like winning the Nobel Prize for a TV show. The show I'm talking about is Rectify, and it is entering its 4th and final season. I caught up with the creator, Ray McKinnon, and the cast, and they told me about saying goodbye. What was it about Rectify, in your opinion, that kept this thing going?
Well, it was really the support of Sundance and AMC. I mean, they loved the show. They loved the subject matter. They really supported it from the beginning, and then beyond that, the critics were really kind to us, and the tastemakers really promoted our show to the audience. And I feel like without those 2 factors, believe me, we would not be on a 4th season.
I've never been on a show where we all stood around and goes, "Why is this so good?" The page, because the words, because of Ray McKinnon, the production value, and the level of commitment and heart that went into a project like this, unparalleled. You know, it just doesn't happen all the time. And for an actor, it's a gift.
It's written with such empathy and understanding, and at the same time, it's so challenging to what we think is right and wrong. So I sit down and watch it, and I can't. I've binge watched season 1 till like 3 in the morning and had to stop myself. Right? Just stop. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. So it's been a great experience, and I'm sad to see it go, but really happy to have been a part of it.
Well, I think that a lot of shows that came before it kind of opened a lot of doors for a show like this to happen, and I think the timing of when Rectify got made was very specific, so I think it was just very lucky. You know, I credit Ray with so much of why the show is so good, just because my first sort of exposure to it was the script, you know, and the writing is just so exceptional that it'd be hard to mess up.
I think audiences were hungry for that kind of thoughtful, slow unfolding of a plot, like not so much plot as story, like content of story about these characters and what they were feeling, and they took a lot of care in casting it. A lot of us are not you know, well-known TV stars or anything like that.
You were a Broadway person.
I'm more of a stage actress, and it was just a sort of a daring move, and I feel like it really paid off because people could really just fall into the fiction and not be aware of watching television stars or any formulaic story they might have seen before.
It's one of the best shows on TV, and it's on Sundance TV every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Catch the final season of Rectify. And if you haven't seen it up until that point, make sure to catch up. It'll be well worth it. Well, we covered a lot of ground, and that is it for another great episode of Behind the Velvet Rope Live. What an incredible week of guests, from the guests on the red carpets to the guests we had in studio today. I want to thank John, Justina, Sophia, just for giving me a great time here as a host. Make sure to check us out on Apple TV. Go get our app on iOS. Check out our website, BehindTheVelvetRope.TV, our Facebook page, all that good stuff. And we're going to see you next Thursday with a brand spanking new episode. See you then, guys.